Hello, my name's Dan and I work for Makerspace Hull, which is part of the library service, and today I'm going to be showing you how to make your very own reset button. Now this is part of a project called the Reset Lab, which is a project run by the library service as part of Freedom Festival, which imagines how we can maybe press reset on the world and make it a little bit better going forwards. And as part of this, we've been giving out some craft packs that you may well have got hold of that will include everything you need to make your own reset button using a technique called paper circuits. Now, if you didn't manage to get one of the craft packs, or if you're looking at this a little bit later on after the event's happened, don't worry, I'll put links in the description below of how you can purchase everything you need. Everything's fairly easily available and it's fairly cheap. So, what you will have in your pack will be a battery, a little coin cell battery, a green LED, which is like a little mini light bulb, and some of this special sticky copper tape. You will also need to supply a couple of sheets of paper or card, a pair of scissors, and then any items you want to decorate your button or design with. So that could be felt tip pens, anything you want to stick on there to just kind of jazz it up a bit. We'll leave that entirely up to you. So first off, I thought I'd just show you a little one that I've already made. This one isn't decorated, it's fairly plain, but will hopefully give you an idea of what we're trying to make before I go on to making the one. Now it's a pretty simple and quick process, but I'll just show you this first. So if I put the battery in here and press down on this little hinge, you should hopefully be able to see the LED lighting up there. So what this is, like I said, it's called a paper circuit, and it actually is a complete electrical circuit just made on a piece of paper. And it's really simple and easy to make. There's no complex wiring, no soldering involved. It's just really simple and easy to do. Basically, if you can use sellotape and a pair of scissors, you can make a paper circuit. So if we have a little look at this, what you can see if I hold this closer up to the camera is we've got the LED stuck down across the two bits of copper tape that are on the paper, and then I've simply made a little kind of button and hinge by taking another square of paper and sticking a bit of copper tape around both sides of it. And what this means is when I place the battery on top of one of the tracks of copper and then I press it down, this completes the circuit and makes the LED light up. So it's really that easy, super simple. So before you get started, what you might want to do is think a little bit about how you're going to decorate it. Now, this is entirely optional. If you want to decorate it after you've made the circuit part, that's totally fine. If you don't want to decorate it all and you just want to make a circuit that flashes light, that's fine as well. But if you want to do a complicated design, you might want to think a little bit about where you're going to put your LED physically on the piece of paper first, so you can kind of draw around it. You've seen this one now, so you have a rough idea of how it's going to kind of look. We're going to have two straight bits of copper with an LED across it, and then this little flap down here to press down. So that's just something to bear in mind. But like I say, if you want to go ahead and just make the circuit part and then kind of worry about decorating it later, that's absolutely fine too. So I'm just going to get a piece of copper tape, maybe about, say, that long, and I'm going to snip it off. And then what I'm going to do is take the sticky backing off of this and then stick it down on the piece of paper about here. So all I need to do is peel the sticky backing off of it. It can be slightly fiddly, but if we just get our nail under it. Now the best thing to do with this is to just peel a little bit of the copper tape off and then start sticking it down. If you peel all of the backing off in one go, this has the tendency to kind of like scrunkle up, and then you can't really stick it down because it's all kind of stuck to itself. So what I'm going to do is just stick it down there like that, and then peel the rest of the backing off as I stick it down. So that's fine. Now that's not super straight, but it doesn't matter because it'll still work absolutely fine. Now what I'm going to do is cut another bit of copper tape off, but I'm going to make this one just slightly longer, maybe say about that much longer than the other bit, because this bit is going to fold around a square of paper that we've cut to make the hinge that you saw before. So all we need now is to get another square of paper, another piece of paper rather, that I can cut a square out of. So I'll do that now. So we're looking at something that's maybe just a couple of centimetres square, not a particularly big bit of paper at all. So now I've got my slightly longer bit of copper tape cut. What I'm going to do is, again, just peel a little bit of the backing off. Don't peel it all off in one go. There we go, just to get it started. And then I'm going to stick it down around both sides of this little square of paper that I've cut out. So I'm just going to stick it down there like that, onto that side of the bit of paper. I'm going to bring it round, make sure it's stuck down on there, and then bring it round. You can see that, so it's stuck down on the other side of the bit of paper as well. So if I just show you that, I've stuck it down on one side there and then passed it round so it's stuck down on the other side, and I've still got a little bit of the sticky backing on it, so it's kind of hanging off the back there. And now what we're going to do is stick it down so we have our hinge at the bottom here, and the rest of this copper track runs up alongside this one. Now you need to get it fairly close, because what we're going to be doing is sticking our LED down across it. So what we're going to be doing is actually bending the legs of the LED like that. So it needs to be fairly close so that you can stick the LED down to it, but not so close that these two copper tracks touch, because then the circuit won't work. So I'm going to position this roughly about here, and then I'm going to start sticking the rest of the copper tape down in a track running alongside the other one like that. So now that we've got our little hinge made, all we need to do is stick down our LED on top of the two copper tracks that we've made. And to do that, we just need to bend the legs of the LED outwards. So if you can see there, I've just bent the legs outwards horizontally to the face of the LED. And now all I'm going to do is position it there and then just stick the legs down on top of these two copper tracks. Now you could use some normal sticky tape to do this, but we might as well use the copper tape that we've got to do it, because that'll keep it nice and secure. So all I'm going to do this is take two tiny little bits of copper tape and then just tape these legs of the LED down nice and securely on top of these two tracks that we've made. So I'll just tape this first one down. So I'm putting this copper tape over the leg of the LED, which is on top of the first pieces of tape that we cut down, and make sure that's nice and firmly attached there. Now I'll take this other small piece that I've cut and do exactly the same on the other side. Now these bits are quite small, so it's perfectly fine to just kind of peel these off in one go and then stick them down. It's just when you've got the slightly longer bits that it can become a little bit fiddly. So now that's taped down nice and securely. Hopefully on top of that we can actually test our circuit, and to do that all we need to do is take our little battery and then we're going to position it on top of that first copper track that we put down, and then when we press down on this, hopefully our LED will light, and there we go. Hey presto, magic, we've got our own reset button. Now if you find that your circuit doesn't work the first time around, there's probably a really simple explanation for that. With these sort of things, the battery needs to be connected to the LED in a specific sort of way. So if you find it doesn't work, it might just be that you've got your battery the wrong way around. So if I put my battery the opposite way to how I had it before and I try it, you can see doesn't matter how I press, the circuit doesn't work now. Whereas if I flip it back round the other way, so the battery's the other way around, we can see that it works again now. So it might be as simple as that. If you find also you're having problems, it could be that perhaps the legs of the LED aren't taped down firmly enough on top of these copper tracks. That can sometimes happen. You just need to make sure you kind of press down on them and you've got a nice firm connection between the legs of the LED and these copper tracks. There's a lot more fun stuff you can do with paper circuits. This is really just a very simple starter thing for you to do. I'll put some other links in the description for some other stuff you could look at to do. You can do much more complicated stuff than this. This is just to kind of get you started and a bit inspired. One thing I would say is try and keep one piece of copper tape. For this, don't try joining several bits together, then it gets a little bit fiddly and there's a couple of gotchas of how exactly you do that. So if you just use one bit, if you kind of mess it up, just cut another bit of copper tape and start again, rather than trying to join lots of little bits of tape together. probably won't work as well if you try and do that. And so essentially that's it. That's how you make your own reset button. You can, like I say, you can decorate this however you see fit. You could just kind of cut this out, make it much smaller, and make it more like it's an actual button. Have fun and think a little bit about how you might want to reset the world when you press your button.